Hi, it's Paul from Takroc Music. Today I wanted to talk about Logic Pro. Have you opened up a project before and added in some guitar tracks, a bass track, the drums, then the vocals, maybe a few other things, some keyboards, and then all of a sudden you find you have a million tracks and you're having a hard time keeping track of what's what, trying to adjust volumes to mix, and it becomes really difficult. So best thing to manage that is to use a template. Now there's lots of templates out there, probably hundreds to thousands, but I've created one today that I wanted to show you and show you how it works, and I want to offer it for free for you to download and you can start using it. It can be easily modified in order to tailor it to the project that you're working on, whether it's large or small, and hopefully you can find it helpful. And at the very end of the video, I'm going to show you an extra bonus if you do any kind of analog mixing on how I take this template and transfer it out to my mixer board and through the analog gear. So let's get started. So here we are in Logic. First thing I want to do is bring your attention to the notepad. So it should open this way. If not, come over to the side here and click the little notepad here. So if it opens like this, just come up here, click this, and this will show you the notepad. So on the project tab, it shows you all the details of the template. Shows where all the buses are, shows how it's laid out, and I'm going to go through each section here to show you what's what and how you can expand and modify it. So the project tab's the same here. We also have a track tab, and that will show up on some of the different tracks. So for example, I'm going to click the bass track. It kind of explains what the bass track does, and then if you go to the next one, so it'll be the guitar track, acoustic guitar, keyboards, etc., and it gives you an idea of just how that all works. But let's first get back to the main track here. So we hit the project. So the way this works is we have a reference track, which is here. If you need to use a reference track, I usually do when I'm doing cover songs. We'll pull this into here, figure out the tempo, and I've got a couple other videos on how to adjust the tempo to a song that's not steady, doesn't have an exact tempo. You can check that out. So you pull a reference mix in here. We have three different drum sections here. So we have the one is the SoCal Drummer, which is from the YouTube Drummer session player. We also have the drum kit designer, and then just this drum tracks if you have actual live drums that you want to pull in. So let's go down here. I'm going to turn this off for a minute. So if we go into the SoCal, you can see that's the normal SoCal drummer. This is the same on any Logic Pro project. You open this up, this is what you'll see. The one difference here is that all of these tracks for the drummer, which are from here to here, they all go to bus 7, which is the main fader right here for the SoCal drums. Okay, and then this goes to 56. So if you're not sure where that goes, you just open up here and you can see that 56 goes to the mixed bus for the drums in two sections, and I'll show you why it's two sections in a moment. Now the beauty about this is you can adjust the drum tracks in here to get the right levels, the right sounds, and everything for the song that you're working on. And then once you've got that all set as a unit, then you can adjust it, the volume, with just the drummer here. So once you get that, I usually leave them around 0 to start, and we'll see how it goes from there. So that's for the drummer. If you go to the next drum designer, it's set up exactly the same way. And also just the drum track is also set up the same way with all the different channels. They all go back to the master VCA bus, which I talk about up here. So let me open up one here. If we go into the drum kit designer and go to the track, you'll see that they go to a VCA fader, which is the main fader here. That way you can make an adjustment up and down for the fader, or if you just want to mute it really quick just to hear something without the drums, you can mute it, or if you want to hear solo, you can hit the solo. So that's the advantage of that. So all three of these drum sections are the same. Obviously you're only going to use one. If you use the Logic drummer, You can also pull in addictive drums or another type of third-party drum kit, and I have another video about that too if you search into the Logic Pro playlist, how to take the SoCal drummer, the Logic drummer, adapt it, and then pull an alias down to addictive drums, and you can put the addictive drums into the same section as here. Okay, so if you wanted to do that, you would simply take the drum kit designer, you would duplicate it, and then so let's take a look at that now. So let's say the drum kit designer, we would go up to here, and where we have drum kit, we would take the section here, and then we would go down to our XLN audio, addictive drums 2, multi-output. We change that, then we would have addictive drums. And then if you watch the other video that I did about this, I'll show you how you can actually create the SoCal drum track and then feed it back into the drum designer. So there's another video for that. Anyway, we'll move on. So if we go to the bass track, open up the track listing, it tells you the same thing. It's basically the same idea for all of these tracks. Again, the idea is we have all the tracks in here, all the different effects that you can do. These are just some of the things that I use. Don't have to use them. You can add in extra tracks if you need to, delete them, whatever you like. I typically like to bring in my bass line into this track here, and then I route over to 22, 23, 24, and 25. And if we go to here, I believe we talk about that down here. So for example, if we go to the bass guitar, so the 21 to 25 is all the different channels, and it gives you just a brief description, mono low end, high end, chorus, amp simulation, clean. You can change all of this. This is just sort of the general layout. You know, if you want to use a different type of bass amp, go ahead. If you want to add a whole nother channel in there, go for it. You can adjust the different sends, different levels here to channel into here, and then start adjusting the volumes on the sliders here, but it all goes back. Yeah, so it goes to 57, but then we have so you can do whatever you like here, add and modify these channels any way you like. And then they channel over to 57, which is up here, the bus mix for all the instruments, minus the drums and the vocals. And again, you have the master VCA adjustment, which you can adjust here. Okay, so that's the bass drums. We have two more, acoustic guitar and guitars. Exactly the same setup. Here I've set up a neat little left and right channel, and where we send into the two channels to the left and the right with delays and a little bit of reverb, and that gives you an idea, sort of a feeling of a stereo guitar. Play around with that. Again, you don't need to use it. You can make adjustments if you want. If you want just a straight up guitar channel, all you do is just go up to here, to here, and just create another audio channel, drag it into here. It will automatically go to 57, which is your instrument bus. And then again, if it's under this group here, you still have the VCA adjustment, so you can move it up and down. I also have an electric guitar bus here too, just so that you can adjust the differences, because obviously acoustic and electric are different. If you have them both in a song, you want to be able to change those up a little bit. And if you have even more, you can simply go up here, hit the acoustic guitar, and say duplicate track, and it will make an exact same track, and you have all the same characteristics if you want to keep it all separate. Okay, so keyboards, same thing. Got a couple of different ways of the way I've done some recordings. Again, if you just need a straight up input, you can just drop a MIDI piano into here, or if you already have an audio, you can bring it into here. Again, it goes to the instrument bus, but it's under the VCA, so you can still adjust the main volume of the whole piano or the whole keyboard tracks. Okay, so now I put in orchestra too, in case you want orchestra. Again, if you don't need it, you can delete it to make your computer faster, or just leave it there. We have backing vocals track here, Again, I've done a little bit, this is some of the stuff that I use just for backing vocals. Again, totally modifiable to you. You can do whatever you want here. Add, subtract, delete. And then we have main vocals here. Drop those in. Now if you have two main vocalists and you want to have complete sort of freedom to change and modify both of those, again, you just go up to lead vocals here, hit the plus or duplicate, then you'll have two lead vocal channels. There you can have two separate vocals and adjust them completely separately. The next part is the bus mixes. So I have 6 of these, and if you look over to the description here on the project, we have effects buses 1 to 6. So I've just put in, this is what I use, like bus 1 is lead vocals, 2 is backup vocals, 3 is the bass guitar, then drum effects, keyboard effects, and guitar. You can totally change this, and you can also add in more of these if you want to. But simply put, it's got a master fader here, and then you can have the channels in here, and you can do whatever you like with the channels. So I've got 3 for vocals. I like to use sort of a reverb, and then I have sort of an ensemble plugin which gives it a little bit of a bite, and then a bit of a flanger, but I keep those fairly low. You can put in a delay, doublers, whatever you like. Just add an extra bus in here. Just here, hit duplicate bus, add in, do whatever you want in here. Make the adjustments to get the vocals sounding good with the effects, and then you can just adjust that bus up or down. But it also goes to bus 59, which is the vocal effects. So if I move that over here, so bus 59 is a separate channel over here for just the vocal effects. So we have the vocals here, vocal effects here, instruments on 57, and then 2 channels for 56 where you can do compression on one and keep it open on the other, whatever you like. And then I just have a basic straight up channel, a dry channel, which is bus 60, just in case you want to add something else into there to add to the mix. All of these go to the stereo out. So that's the bus. This is the template that I use, and I find it really handy. It's very helpful, keeps everything straight. I can modify it every time I do different songs. I add and subtract different channels depending on what's needed, so that's really good. And then the little bonus that I wanted to talk about, I do my main mixing in here, and then when I'm ready once I got all the balances in and everything's set up and the timing's good and I got the right sounds, got everything compressed properly, I take all of these channels and I put them through my big analog mixer, which is just over here, if you can see it. And I also have a bunch of analog gear in the racks here. So the beauty about this is if we go back to the channels here, you can take these channels here. So for example, if we're taking, let's say, this guitar here, we just go to outputs and then we put it into our outputs on our audio interface, which is hooked up to the main mixer board. And then from the mixer board, I go through a patch bay with equalizers, compressors, and then I send it all of that back into the stereo bus, which is over here with an IO input. I use a input 7 and 8, I think it is, and then drop it back into here. And then I'm able to use my mixer board and use a bunch of analog mixing after I sorted it all out here on getting the right balances and everything. So that's pretty cool too. And I'll do another video on that. That's going to take a little bit longer. I want to do a nice detailed video on how I've got everything hooked up and how all of that works. But anyway, in the meantime, this is what I use. It's a time saver for me. It's highly modifiable. You can adapt it and adjust it to whatever you need. So I hope you found this video helpful, and I'm going to provide a link in the description for you to download this very template. You can go ahead and use it, modify it, share it, do whatever you like with it, and let me know in the comments what you think. And if you have any other ideas on how to improve it, let me know, and then I'll add that in, and then I'll change it up in the download. So thanks for watching. Talk to you soon.